Yes, guys, Grey 100 MUFC debate. Now, today, something slightly different. The Oracle has predictions for the 20 Premier League clubs and where they will finish come the end of the season. So, without further ado, let's go straight over to Mr. Graham Wilde.
Hi, done a bit of revision here, or research as they call it, and I'm going to try and give you the 1 to 20 in the Premier League for next season. Um, Arsenal and Coventry have already played, but it's not really going to make a huge difference to the decision that I'd already made. And I'm going to do this in alphabetical order of the teams. Arsenal, expect them to finish first. Uh, they have strengthened all over the pitch. Hincapié has come in. Guimaraes, Solis, who's looked really good. Ilan Melier is the third goalkeeper because they've still got Kepa. And they've just signed Ezri Konsa to cover Gabriel and Saliba. They've lost Trossard, Kivior and Norgard, and if they strengthen any more, it's just going to make them stronger at the top. Aston Villa, I've got them at seventh. They have lost quite a few players. Rodgers, Konza, Tielemans, Daniel Marlon, Lewis Dobbin, Berenachea, Luca Dean, Louis Barry, and several juniors released or what have you. But they have brought in Manzambi, Joao Gomez, Zion Suzuki, Ruggieri, Wan-Bissaka, and Garnacho. Let's see if little Alejandro can keep his mouth shut and improve. I've got Villa at seventh. Bournemouth next. Bournemouth I've got 10th, and that's largely because it's their first season in the Europa League and they've got a new manager. And I will remember his name. I just forgot his name. Marco Rose, I think it is. Yeah, so they've signed Antonio Silva at centre half, who's a brilliant replacement for Marco Senesi. Alvaro Rodriguez, who's a striker, and they've taken a bit of a flyer on him. He's going to replace Enes Unal. And Juan Luis Sanchez. Now, this has gone under the radar. This is to replace the right back, Alex Jimenez, who's been a very naughty boy and has been shipped away into Europe when he probably should be facing the police in in Bournemouth, shall we say. They've also, as I said, lost Enes Unal, Marcos Senesi. Hamad Traore and Luis Sinisterra has gone back to Brazil. Brentford, I've got 8. And the reason I've got Brentford 8 is because they haven't got European football. They've kept Utara, Shada and Igor Jesus. Not Igor Thiago? Igor Thiago, not Igor Jesus. He's at Forest. And they've only lost Frank Onyeka and Jordan Henderson. But the big one is they've replaced him with Mamadou Sangare, that a lot of fans really like. Was he at Lens? So they've really not lost anybody. Will they sign anybody before the end of the window to strengthen their case? Don't know. Brighton, I've got 12th. And the reason I've got Brighton 12th is because they're in the Europa Conference and their turnover of players has been massive. Great signings, Vuskovic, Zadok Johanna. Now, I'd be keeping an eye open for him in case Yankuba Mente actually goes. They paid 21 million for him and he looks quite exciting. They signed Promise David on loan, a Canadian striker. I'm surprised at that, but we'll see what they get out of him. And quite a few old favourites have gone. Solly March has finally left Brighton. Adam Webster, Brian Gruder, Joel Veltman, Facundo Buonanotte, Jeremy Sarmiento. Danny Welbeck, of course, Diego Coppola, Carl Rushworth, and Jan-Paul van Hecke. Chelsea, wow. This is a difficult one. Chelsea could finish anywhere, but I've got them fifth. Morgan Rogers, Maxence Lacroix, Jordan Henderson, Marco Palestra, Valentin Barco, Danny Welbeck, and my view is they probably will score more goals. Now they've got rid of Alejandro Garnacho, sorry Alejandro, and they've put some experience up there, and I'd expect Joe, Pedro and Danny Welbeck to help them out in that matter. Moving on to Coventry, I've got them going down. A lot of people have got them staying up. I've got them going down. They've made quite a lot of signings. Kelly Burankri had a decent World Cup, but Coventry are saying they signed him without that. I believe that when I see it. Carl Rushworth, Lam Chona, Arak Amenda, Tawo Awonyi, Gustavo Harmer, Frank Onyeka. Quite a bit of Premier League experience, but I still think Coventry, who've been out of this division quite a long time, in excess of 25 years, are gonna. I think they're gonna struggle, regardless of the fact that they won the championship fairly comfortably. Crystal Palace, I've got 17th for two reasons. I've no idea what the capability of Pierre Sage is. They're in the Europa League now. They've got. They have signed Dwight McNeil, Oscar Mingueza, Tomiyasu, and Evan Gessan has continued his loan from Aston Villa. They've lost Maxence Lacroix and Brennan Johnson, and I still think they'll be okay. But if they lose any more, it's looking dodgy. So 17th, maybe that's a bit harsh, but I think they're probably going to have a tough season unless they recruit further. Everton. Now I've got Everton 13th. Now they're pretty stable, but what I did notice is that they have trouble selling anybody. They're even worse at it than United. They've lost Dwight McNeil. Seamus Coleman's finally retired. Well, left Everton, that's for certain, which is pretty much retirement. And Edgrissa Garnagaya's left. Now they've got Aidan Hackney, Tariq George, Martin Roll, Christian Norgard and Brennan Johnson. That's semi-decent recruitment, and they'll always be difficult to beat, Everton. And I think I might have placed them lower than I think they're going to finish. I would put them probably as high as 9th if everything goes okay. Right, Fulham. I've got Fulham above Crystal Palace, mainly because I'm giving them credit for being well run before. Alvaro Arbeloa was complaining that he doesn't have enough. I mean, he got two guys from Real Madrid. Gonzalo Garcia plays across all of the front line for Real Madrid, but he's got no experience in the Premier League. And Shea Charles has got promise, ex-Man City graduate, and he's replacing Sasa Lukic. Cesar Palacios is a creative player, less well known within Madrid, and his development a bit like Kevin. And then Jonah Kusi Guari, who's also a forward, and again he's promise rather than ready-made. Now they've lost Sasa Lukic, Issa Diop, Raul Jimenez and Harry Wilson. Raul Jimenez didn't score a lot of goals, but he scored his penalties and he was a handful, as Matthias de Ligt would testify from the away game earlier in the season. Hull City, I've got 20th. And the reason for that mainly is because of strikers, because Ollie McBurney's going to take the strain with Joe Gelhardt. They don't really have a lot of Premier League experience. Beyond that, there's an under-21 lad, Can't remember his name. I've got him written down here. Tyrell somebody, who's the third striker. They did a lot of business. Gelhart's move being permanent. Lucas Garner-Duarte, Jack Butland, Lucas Harrington, Nobel Mendy, probably their main acquisition. Elliot Stroud, Konstantinos Salakis, Jens Herto Dial, Oscar Zambrano, Matt Targett, Ben Robinson, and Enimasi Morita. Not going to help them. I think they're in for a long season, and I expect them to head back down to the Championship. Ipswich, I've got 19th. Again, Kieran McKenna was replaced by Gary O'Neill. They've made a lot of signings, some with Premier League experience. They've got a centre forward called Emerson, who's probably going to have to hit the ground running. Abdullah Tara, Julio Enciso, who'd been on loan before, has made his move permanent. Florentino ex Burnley. Dyson Maeda from Celtic, who's a tricky left winger. Issa Diop and Cedric Kipre are centre halves. Sasa Lukic, as mentioned before, has come into centre midfield. And a decent piece of business from Chuba Akpom. Do you know what? Some of those signings are quite astute from Gary O'Neill. I've got them 19th, but it wouldn't surprise me if they'd actually prove me wrong. Leeds United, right. Dirty Leeds, I've got 9th. James Trafford, Tarek Mihremovic, Nico Olvedi and Harry Wilson came in for them. I know they're after Mikhailo Mudryk, and I guess that they're looking to recruit. When United played them in Dublin, they looked a handful and kept a lot of players. They've lost Pascal Stroke, and I guess Mihremovic and Olvedi are partly replacing him. Joe Gelhardt, as mentioned, went to Hull. Jack Harrison's finally gone. Carl Darlow and Ilan Melier both departed, which sort of makes way for James Trafford. And João Pirro went on loan to West Ham. Leeds, I think, will have a good season because they're a handful, and I've got them in the top 10. Probably the dark horses, as close to a dark horse as I've got. I've played quite safe here. Liverpool, I've got 4th. I think under Iraola, the goal scoring will go up. They've not really recruited an awful lot, but they are after Barcola. And I expect some Yankuba Minte to probably come in. Jeremy Jacquet is going to play centre half along with Ronald Araujo and give competition to Virgil van Dijk, amongst other things. And Joe Gomez and the other lad who came from Italy, who's recovering from a cruciate ligament injury. They've lost Salah, Robertson, Kanate, and Curtis Jones. So their business has been quite sparse, but I still expect them to finish 4th. I've got Manchester City 2nd, simply because I expect them to still score a lot of goals. They've got quite a lot of business to do because really they've only brought in Geronimo Rulli, who's a substitute goalkeeper, to replace Trafford. Elliot Anderson, of course, and Jeremy Monga. I'd expect them to sign another elite centre midfielder, and I'd expect them to go in for a striker, particularly if Omar Marmoush leaves. Be interesting to see if Jack Grealish stays with Maresca, because obviously Savino, Reinders, Rodri, Trafford, Ake, Heskey. Regan Heskey's gone, one of the youth players, and they got money for him because it's City. Akanji, Stones, Bernardo Silva. Calvin Phillips went out on loan again, so they can't sell him to a Saudi-rich club. And Sverinaipon went on loan. United, well, I've got us finishing 3rd. mainly because I expect us to score the same amount of goals. And I'm being generous here because I'm hoping that the midfield hit the ground running, because it's a completely new midfield, let's be perfectly obvious. And the players who've had 1 year at the club, I'm hoping that they'll develop further. And the ones who didn't quite hit their straps last year will improve too. I'm not making many demands on United maintaining their place in the league, and hopefully the players that Michael Carrick has been happy with will deliver again. Okay, we're getting towards the end. Newcastle. Okay, now a lot of people have Newcastle really near the bottom. I've got them just hovering above in 15th. And again, I think I expect them to do slightly better. They do have lost a host of really good players. Tonali, Guimaraes, Gordon, Target, Trippier, Kraft and Ruddy as well. So it's really only 3. And they've replaced them with Bazamana, Toure, Alaji Bamba, Amar Dedic, Lucas Hornicek and Owen and Sean Stoyer as a midfielder. So Newcastle, they're very hard to play against at home. Very, very difficult to play against, and I expect that to continue regardless of whether Eddie Howe is still there. And I've got them 15th. Forest I've got 14th, but largely because they've not done a lot of business. But what they have done is some good. Usman Diamande, who was at Sporting with Ruben Amorim, has come in at centre back. Xavier Schlager has replaced Elliot Anderson, and Stephen Bender, the goalkeeper, has replaced Stefan Ortega and Angus Gunn. 2 goalkeepers went out. Forest not done a lot of business, but I've got them at 14th. Sunderland I've got at 11th, and Tottenham I've got 6th. Sunderland have got a left back called Diane Mathali, and they've got Thomas Mounier, who's very experienced at right back. Very importantly, Sunderland have still got Granit Xhaka. Managed to keep Granit Xhaka. They're in the Europa League, and generously I've kept them 11th because of the intensity that Regis Lebris actually plays. Spurs I've got 6th, and I'm being generous because the lift that they've got from these signings might actually take them a long way, and I'm being kind here. And they have shipped out Vicario, Spence, Romero, Vuskovic, which was a surprise. I think they probably should have kept him. Will Lankshire's gone to Middlesbrough. Ashley Phillips, Tynan Thompson has come to United. Manus Solomon, Radu Dragusin and Yves Bissouma. So he's moved a lot of deadwood on there as well, and they've had a great window.
Thanks very much, Graham. I've just called to McDonald's for a lovely toffee latte. Oh, I can't beat a toffee latte first thing in the morning. It's like a breakfast, it's all that milk, I think. Anyway, back to the football. Let us know what you think and where you think United will finish, and if you're up to it, where everyone else will finish. Give us a quick run through. Don't have to give us a description and why, just put the teams in order if you so desire in the comments. Please remember to slap a like and subscribe, and yeah, I'd appreciate that. Grey 100 MUFC debate. Catch you in the next one.